Hi guys, welcome to another session on Cucumber. My name is Karanbir Singh. So guys, let's have a quick recap of what we did in the last session. So guys, in the last session, we had divided these sessions into three different parts and we tried to cover installation for Cucumber, understanding feature file and understanding the step file. So let's have a look of what we are going to cover in this video. So guys, in this video, we are going to understand how to use data tables with scenario keyword, understand how parameterized data is sent from feature file to step file. How can we build common steps for multiple scenarios? So let's move on to Visual Studio Code. And this is where we left. So guys, under the feature, I'll create a new file and name it as homepage.feature. So .feature is the extension and I'll create this file. So in this file, I'll use a keyword feature. So guys, in this, what we are going to do is we are going to navigate to Amazon. We are going to log in into the account and search for item. So this is the scenario, or we can say the feature that I'm about to test is the search bar. And this is the scenario which I just explained that we are going to create the feature file for. So I'll quickly remove the feature description and I'll clear the feature name. And instead of feature name, I'll write searching an item using search bar in Amazon. Right. So guys, I'm about to search an item using the search bar. So this is the feature that I have. And for scenario, okay, for scenario, we'll be testing a positive scenario, which would be searching an item which is present, right? And I'll write given. We'll start with given. So guys, in this, what we are trying to learn or what we are trying to understand is how to use data tables with the keyword scenario. We understood the working of data table with keyword scenario outline in the part where we understood the feature files. So guys, if you've not gone through that part, no worries. I'll share the link in the description. You can just go through that part once again. It will give you a better understanding and the difference also. What is the basic difference between scenario and scenario outline? So in this part, we are going to understand how to use data tables with the keyword scenario. So in the given, I'll say that the URL of the application is opened. Then comes the when, and in when I'll say the user logs in. User is logged in with his or her credentials, where username would be let's say I'll write my name Karanbir and password would be okay, and in password I'll just write random. So this is what we write in when, and in then I'll say the user searches for an item, let's say shoes of brand Nike. So guys, either I can write it this way. Now I've written a scenario, and let me just format it. So in order to format, I can press Control A to select everything. Then I can press Alt Shift and F all together, and it will format me this feature file. So either I can do what I can do is, guys, this is what we learned also in the first part where we learned how to create feature files, that we can mention the input data into these codes. So whatever data I want to send through the feature file, I can mention them into these codes, right? So either I can search an item through this, but then if I want to search multiple items, then what I can do is I can copy this whole scenario, paste it multiple times and keep changing the data, or what I can do is I can create a data table. So now let's learn how we can create a data table. So I'll quickly remove this input values, and I'll move on to the next line and I'll add a pipe. And in the pipe, I'll first give a heading which is item. I'll add another pipe and I'll again give a new heading which is brand. So these are the two headings which I've written. I'll move on to the next line. I'll again add a pipe. So the item that I first want to search was shoes. So I'll say shoes. I'll close the pipe and I'll say Nike. So this is the brand of shoes. So guys, when we are creating data table, we need to understand we need to open and close the pipes as well. So for item, this is the open pipe that we have. This is the close pipe. So close pipe acts as an open pipe for the next value, which is for brand. This is the open pipe and this is the close pipe. We need to be very careful with this opening and closing of the pipe, right? So the next item that I want to search is, let's say I will search shirts. And again, the brand that I want is, let's say US Polo is the brand that I'm looking for, right? So I'll mention this again. I'll quickly format the feature file so that it looks okay. So guys, this is how I've created a data table for this file. And the working of the data table is that the last then, just the last, the immediate step which is mentioned above the data table will get executed the number of times the data is present in the data table. So for this then, which says the user searches the item, just this step will get executed 3 times. That is, first for item and brand, then for shoes Nike, then for shirts and US Polo. So just the last 10 will get executed 3 times. Now, if we talk about the difference between scenario and scenario outline, in scenario outline, we mapped the items. Let me just show it to you. See, we mapped the items and the complete scenario got executed for this data set. That is, first for John and random, it works like given will get executed, when will get executed, then will get executed, and will get executed just for the first set of data. Then for Smith, the whole scenario, then again given URL, this will get executed, given will get executed, then when will get executed, then will get executed, and then and. So if we talk about scenario outline, the complete scenario is executed for the set of data, whereas if we talk about scenario and the data table created in with the scenario keyword, just the immediate step is executed for the number of times the data is present. So this then will get executed 3 times. And if we add one more line, that is, if we add one more item for search, then this whole then this then will get executed for 4 times. So as much data is present, this step will get executed for those many number of times. So now let's try and run this. I'll quickly navigate to Cucumber config. So guys, if you've not seen, we have also we had created this Cucumber file. If you've not gone through this part, no worries. I'll share the link in the description. Please go through that video. It will help you understand how we created this configuration file and how this configuration file works. So guys, under the suits, let me just add one more suit because now I want to execute the home page feature file. So I'll mention it in a separate suit. And what I'll do is I'll copy this path from here. I'll copy it and I'll paste it down. The reason, because both the feature files are present at the same place, it is just that the name is different. So instead of login, I'll change the name to homepage. I'll change it to homepage and it is good for execution. And I'll quickly open the terminal. Let's just run this feature file now. And let me just write npm run cucumber test, and I'll write homepage. I'll just verify. So guys, whatever suit we write here should be same. So let me just change it to camel casing and let's execute this. So as of now, nothing will get executed, just the browser should get open. We should be navigated to Amazon and the Amazon should shut down. Why? Because we have yet not added any step file for this, right? We have just written the feature file. We have not added any step file. So let's just wait for the browser to get executed. Okay, so the browser has opened now. It has maximized Amazon has opened and I think it should close now. So yes, and if you see here, you can see that if we see the outcome, it says one scenario is undefined, three steps are undefined, and it tells me all these three steps are undefined. So guys, under step definition, let's quickly add one more file and we'll name it as homepage dot step ts. So I've created this file, and guys, if you remember in the last video where we explained how to create step definition file, we will be following the same steps. I'll quickly copy this snippet code and I'll paste it in my step file. I'll copy the when and I'll paste it in the step file, and I'll copy the last then and I will paste it in the step file. So guys, I've created my step file and I'll just quickly import given when then from Cucumber. I'll do the quick fix, add all imports, and you can see all the imports just got added. So guys, now let's also understand how data from feature file is sent to the step file. So let me just show you the feature file, and let's just read this when, where it says the user is logged in with his or her credentials, which is username, Karanveer, and password random. So the data that I had sent from the feature file was my name, which is Karanveer, and the password, which is random. And if we move on to the step file, you can see that it says the user is logged in with his or her credential, username string, because we had sent a string from feature file, and password string. Again, we had sent two strings, right? We had sent two data in the form of strings. Both got captured in the step file as a string, and both of them are present in functions like here. So the username is present here and the password is present in string2. Right guys, so the data is sent in the same format and is stored in the same format. First we had sent the username and then we had sent the password. So similarly, username is here stored and password is stored here. So similarly, username is stored here and password is stored here. So guys, I'll always recommend you to change the name of these string and string2 to anything which is relevant. And by relevant, what we mean is the data that you are sending. So I'm sending username here. So what I'll do is I'll write username here, and I'm sending password in second string. So instead of string2, I'll write password here. Right. So now what is the benefit? Now the benefit of this is if I just read the step file and if I don't navigate to the feature file, I can still understand this step very easily. Why? And let's see how we can do that. The user is logged in with his or her credential, username string and password string. So now I know that I'm getting username from here and I'm getting password from here. And how? Because I've mentioned them here. So now what I can do is I can remove this as well. I can shorten my step. So what I'll do is I'll remove username and password, and I'll just say user is logged in with his or her credentials string and string. And this string denotes username and this string denotes password. So my step becomes shorter. And similarly, what I'll do is I'll remove it from here as well. I'll do this and I'll remove password as well. So this is how my step became shorter. I'm sorry. This is how my step became shorter. So guys, we are not going to deal with code in this, right? We are just trying to understand what and how the data is being transferred from feature file to step file, or how does the step file receive the data from feature file. So we are just going to discuss about that part, and we are not going to jump into the code. So guys, similarly, if you see the next step where we had sent a multiple set of data. So this multiple set of data is known as database. Oh, I'm sorry, data table. This is known as data table. And similarly, if you see in the step file also, a data table is being sent. How to recover data from here or how to fetch data from a data table is something that we'll cover in the upcoming sessions. But let's just understand that if we create a data table in a feature file, the same data table is sent to the step file. If we add any strings in the steps, so same strings are being sent to the feature file. I'm sorry, the step file. And we have to rename them so that it makes some sense, right? Instead of string2, we have renamed it to something relevant, something which we are sending from the feature file, that is username and password. So guys, this is how the data is being sent from feature file to step file. Let's move on to the next part, guys. Now, what if this is just one scenario that I created, right? This is the positive scenario that we have covered. Now, what if I want to cover a negative scenario as well? So now let's learn how to smartly create a feature file and even have a smarter step file. Right, so what I've done is I've just copied this step and I'm saying I will just change the scenario and I'll say searching an item which is not present. So now I'm going to test a negative scenario. So guys, it is always recommended, or let me just tell you, it's not recommended, but then I'll suggest you to always have similar steps. Why? Because the biggest advantage of using Cucumber is if once you have defined the steps in your step file, if you're using the same steps multiple times, you need not define them again, right? So what we have done is I've just copied this and I've created a new scenario which says not present. And what I will do is I will just comment this. So I've commented this out. I've created a new step and let's see, I've just changed the name of scenario where I am saying that searching an item which is not present. So what I will do is I'll run this step again and let's see if now it shows the steps are undefined or not. So I've started with the execution and let's just wait for the browser to open. So the browser is open now. As you can see, it should now just maximize and open Amazon. So nothing will happen because no code was present in the step file. So it will now just directly close. Okay, so now you can see that it got closed and we had altered this step. That is why I mean by alteration we removed a username hyphen password. That is why it is showing me this that it is one is undefined, maybe some space issues. So guys, you can also understand how sensitive Cucumber is. Even if there is a small space issue which is present, it will keep on saying that this step is undefined. Whereas if you see, no other step is being shown undefined, and the reason is because we have kept these steps same. That is why. Right, so what we can do is we can just move here, and what I'll do is I'll quickly copy this whole again. I'll quickly copy this complete when, and I'll paste it here. Maybe some issues with spacing that I caused because of removing the data, and we'll alter it again. I'll change it to username and I'll change string to the password, right? And now guys, you can see that I copied the same steps. That is why no new step came up, right? I just got one step and maybe that is because of the spacing issue which was created, but then rest of the steps were not created again, or it did not show me that rest of the steps were undefined. So now guys, let's also see what if I had altered them. So let me just uncomment it and let me just change them a little bit, right? So from the given I've just removed is and I say the URL of the application opened, and in this where we have written his or her credentials in the next when, let me remove his or her and I'll just write with the credentials, right? And in the last then where it says the user searches for an item, I'll say which is not present, right? So I've altered these steps a little bit, and now let's see if I get if it shows me that all the steps are undefined or not, right? So I'll open the terminal again and I'll execute this again, homepage again. So we have altered these steps. So now these are 6 different steps, and out of which we have already defined 3. So let's see what the outcome comes now. So we are just waiting for the browser to open. So here the browser has opened. Maximized, we are navigated to Amazon and it should shut down now because there is no code written. So guys, if you see, it says 4 undefined, two scenarios undefined and 4 steps. So let's just go. Okay, so again it is showing that when is undefined. Strange, should not happen, but then let's see. And let's see the other steps as well. So it says given the URL of the application opened. So guys, the steps which we had altered in the feature file, right? It created us the new steps. So now for two different scenarios, we have new steps being created, though everything is same. So guys, I will suggest you always keep your, or try maximum to keep your steps same, so that your step file remains shorter. Shorter the step file, it is easier to maintain, right guys? And plus it is also even easier to understand. Now if I had the same steps, now also try and understand, because we have altered these steps. So now we have 6 scenarios, right? I need to copy these because these are undefined as of now. Once I copy them here, it would be 6 steps which I've written. Now imagine if you have 50 scenarios, and in relevance to those 50 scenarios, you'll have 150 steps, which are too much, right? And are difficult to maintain as well. So guys, always try and keep your step file or your steps same, and just play around with the data. Play around with the data. Your data should be different and your outcome should also be different. That is it. Try and keep your steps same, so that your step file is something which is manageable. You can easily handle this file. Even if you add 2 to 3 new steps more, let's say you write an outcome more here, let's say search is an item, and if I, let's say, write one more, then I'll say then these, or then the user logs out. This is what I write here, right? So this is the outcome which I mentioned, and in this, if I write then an alert should be popped up, right? Because the item which I'm searching is not present. So even in this case, just the last outcome will vary. Rest all the steps will remain intact. So guys, this is how we can smartly create our feature files, by keeping most of the steps same and just altering the data. This is how we can, smartly create the feature file, and this is how we can even smarter way. This is the even smarter way of maintaining your step file, that your steps remains to the minimum count, a count which is manageable as well. So guys, this is all for today's session or today's video. Thank you so much guys. I hope you enjoyed it.